So it really is up to the collaboration between the city and the data that they provide, and to startups and to developers and to the companies that they work with. You know, you can build, you can put in devices and you can put out data, but the real value really comes from how do you use that data to make the city better? How do you use it to improve logistics, to improve traffic, to improve security, to make life just a little bit better? And I see in other cities people really starting to figure out ways to track, you know, everything from crime rates to car congestion to everything else. So in Dubai specifically, I think you're seeing a lot, like there's a lot of open data initiatives to find ways to collaborate and use that data to find problems people didn't even know existed. And I think that's one of the big things for smart cities. And then of course the sensor technology, being able to detect things like when garbage cans are full so that people can pick them up and have a more efficient routes, and being able to track energy better so you can figure out where power should be distributed. Things like that are going to make cities a lot smarter very quickly. Private companies are fundamental to smart cities. No government can or should do it on its own, right? It's a lot of entrepreneurial people, either at startups or at big companies, figuring out that this data is now available from these companies and figure out ways to use it and collaborate with city and state and national governments to do smarter things, whether it is, like we talked about, smarter energy distribution, or just making it so people save energy in their homes so that you save energy overall, or talk about transportation, being able to talk about where are the biggest congestions, how do you solve that? How do you make it so that maybe there's either better public transportation, or the traffic lights are more efficient, or the places where you figure out where you need to build more roads or newer roads or updates. All these certain things with the technology we have now and the technology that we made, you need private companies, and you need private company data, and you need private companies to embrace the smart city in order for it to work. So when it comes to consumer demand for IoT, Internet of Things technologies, it really comes down to three things. It comes down to use case, it comes down to price, and it comes down to build quality. And I talked a little about this earlier today, but the basics are that you have to really build a product consumers actually want, which a lot of companies fail to do the research and figure out that, oh, consumers don't actually want this or need this, or consumers actually do want this or need this. And you know, a lot of people are building smart products for the home, but unfortunately, a lot of consumers aren't demanding it yet because the use cases aren't strong enough. And you have to have a strong use case for an IoT product before it gets adopted widely. Second one is price. Unfortunately, a lot of IoT products are too expensive. You have smart light bulbs that are $100 US. Why would anyone buy that when they can buy it for 1/100th of the price for a regular light bulb? And so IoT companies have to find a way to get the prices down or to really argue the value. Nest did a great job of doing this, the smart thermostat company, by saying that, yes, our thermostat costs more than the typical thermostat, but you will make the money back and then some by the energy savings, because it has smart energy detectors and is able to figure out when to turn on and off the thermostat. That's a huge savings, and that's why Nest was able to succeed where others had failed. And then the last one is build quality. Just a lot of IoT products and sensors are still not built really well. And they could learn from the Apple design sensibility, which is not just you design the product at your headquarters, but you send the engineers who design the product to the factories to oversee the process and make sure the build quality is really strong. And if more companies embrace that kind of philosophy, you'd have products that didn't break in their first couple beta rounds. And unfortunately, if you're a startup and your product fails the first time when you put it out there, your company fails. It's not the same as software where you can fail fast and reiterate. So I'm biased, but it's smart energy for me, is IoT energy. And it's a wireless electricity. And I'm an investor in a wireless electricity company, but I believe over the next 5 to 10 years, power cords will be obsolete. You won't have to plug your phone or your laptop into a wall. It'll charge by just you walking around. And we'll be able to do this through ultrasound and other technologies that are coming over the next few years. And there's great companies. I'm an investor in a company called Ubeam that does this, wireless electricity through ultrasound. So I'm a big proponent of this, and I'm a big believer that this is something that's in the very near future, not the far future. Some of the biggest challenges when facing IoT companies is getting better build quality, at a lower price point. And honestly, that's the problem that a lot of manufacturers have. But IoT is especially important because these are expensive devices. They cannot break. They have to feel really good, and they have to be designed really well. And a lot of these devices have to look good because they're in public spaces. Like I have the Fitbit right here. It's simple, but it's elegant, and it looks good on me. Or an Apple Watch. They really thought about how does it look and how does it feel, which is why they have all the other bands. And that's why the Apple Watch has been the most successful smartwatch to date compared to all the others. You can't just have a clunk of computer and stick it on your head or stick it on your arm and expect that to work. It has to be elegant, and it has to be at a good price point, and it has to have a high build quality. And those are really hard things to do in general, but those are the biggest things that are holding IoT companies back.